My name is Kathleen LeFevre. I am senior attorney here at Stiller & Firm. I have been practicing family law for 12 years. I got into family law because I really liked interacting with the families as well as the individuals, helping them navigate through the complex legal process, thinking through, puzzling through how to manage multiple parts of the divorce process or modifications. My favorite part is doing adoptions, but all of it I find really fulfilling, helping people out of emotionally complex situations. A lot of what I do is helping people take a look at where they are and assessing both how they're handling a situation, but also processing how maybe the other side is handling the situation and giving them a little bit more of a distant perspective, pulling them out of the trees to see the whole forest, if you will, in order for them to be able to move forward. And so I oftentimes look at what is the best business decision, and I try to help people look at their process and what is the best business decision for them with regard to their family, be that financially or emotionally. Well, other than adoptions, because I really do love adoptions. I'm adopted. My mom was adopted. It's an extremely wonderful thing to be a part of. Besides that, I really enjoy the complex business aspects, valuing and tracing property, especially when we get into large net worth or into more complex commercial ownerships. Those are the things that I particularly enjoy. I have a business background, business and finance, and so for me, that was a whole life ago before I became a lawyer. So I do very well with translating that. As far as finance, I stay on top of my own personal investments, things like that. So helping my clients either learn how to do that if they haven't been able to do that, or dealing with my clients who have been managing their own for a long time and being concerned about things like tax consequences, carryovers, sometimes getting into how we're going to divide, what assets make the most sense for them. We're able to talk through that. I find that to be really fascinating. I try to put myself in my client's shoes, emotionally, especially their circumstances. I try to connect with that and understand where they're coming from. Oftentimes, one of my jobs is just kind of being my client's backbone, not just carrying them, but kind of helping them remember how to have a spine. And a lot of times that's kind of why they got into the situation that they're at. There was a lot of conflict avoidance. And so I approach it with, if it was me, this is what I would want to happen. How do we get there? I don't want to force my opinion on somebody, but I do want to make sure they at least have the opportunity to feel like they're in a position of power enough to get what they're legally entitled to. And then if they choose not to pursue that, I will respect it. But I do want them to feel that they are empowered enough to at least have that option. What motivates me the most is helping good people out of bad situations. I see a lot of people at their worst. They're saddest, they're most distraught, they're most confused. And I see a lot of growth in the people that I represent. And to me, that's actually the most fulfilling, is watching people, the way they come into my office and the day we first meet and the day that they leave, and the emotional growth that I see for them is actually probably the most fulfilling thing. Communication. It certainly made me a better spouse. I think that learning boundaries, one of the biggest things I think I've seen universally is that people kind of end up in my office because they don't respect boundaries or they did not stand up for their own boundaries. And so again, kind of going back to helping them with their backbone, I think it's also taught me how to recognize what people don't even realize is important to them. Fish that out, see if that is actually what's important to them. And if I see that light in their eyes, if it sparks joy, then I help them reestablish those boundaries and see that as their kind of form of justice. I think that it's really important for you to think it through, but make sure that you think it through with someone who knows what they're doing. A lot of times you can go into something thinking you have a reasonable expectation, and a good attorney is going to give you a different perspective based on your judge, your circumstances, the facts of your case. All of those things are important. And so understand that justice and the legal system are not necessarily the same thing to you. I think that I'm a pretty compassionate person, and I connect with my clients on an emotional level, and I care a lot. And so I think that that is actually one of my biggest strengths, while also understanding that when attorneys fight, clients lose. So I don't fight for the sake of fighting. I fight for the things that I have learned are important to my clients. And I think that that's what gets fulfillment for my clients as well.